Hi guys, before we get into the video, did you manage to check out the link for your pop-out poster? I received my poster and it's a must-have if you're an Arsenal fan, and it's available all around the world. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at 4 things spotted from West Ham 3, Arsenal 3. So we're going to look at the 4 talking points from the Gunners' 3-3 Premier League draw with West Ham at the London Stadium. So the first thing on the list is Mikel Arteta's biggest problem. The positives of course to take from the game are that Arsenal were able to turn their situation around rather than just wilting under the pressure as became so common under Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery. Mikel Arteta has done such a good job turning that state of mind within the club around. But the fact that inconsistency Arsenal have shown between games has now managed to find a way of showing up within matches. It must be maddening for Mikel Arteta. Speaking after the game, the Spaniard admitted it was something his side had to overcome. Probably, he said when asked if it was the biggest problem Arsenal face if they are to bridge the gap to elite table of Premier League clubs as which they wish to sit. Now, I'm not worried about the culture because we've come so far on that. I've seen so many positives to be confident with what I'm saying. I'm worried with the levels that we can show within a game. And that's where I think we're still far from the top teams. It's not exactly a hot take to say that Arsenal are struggling with creating their own problems within matches, but the Jekyll and Hyde performance at the London Stadium was probably the most stark reminder we have had this season that the issue is a long way from being solved. So the next thing on the list is Callum Chambers makes his case. If he turns onto the game just in time to hear Jamie Carragher comparing Callum Chambers to Cafu, you rightly would have been very confused. The 26-year-old had been brought into the starting lineup with an intention of dealing with the immense aerial threat West Ham pose through Thomas Souček and Mikel Antonio and seemingly not much else. But as the comeback gathered momentum, it found an unlikely flag bearer in the shape of the England international. The former Southampton defender made 8 crosses, created 3 chances, the most he has ever managed in the Gunners shirts, and finished the game with 2 assists. He was really good, said the Spaniard. He's been training very well. It's a player that as well gives us something else. He's given us some height in the back line which we need with that team that we have at the moment. He was superb. He was really efficient in the third as well. I think he had a great performance. Watching on home would have been Hector Bellerin, who despite not being injured could not even make the Arsenal bench, while Cedric Soares would also have been concerned with what he saw. The 2 right backs have their strengths, but their advantage over Chambers as a selection in that position was that the England international was deemed as somewhat limited when it came to the offensive side of his game. However, having proved he is more than capable in that department, while also keeping up his defensive work with the most clearances of any Arsenal player on the pitch, it appears to have made a convincing case that he should be starting there more often. It is unfortunate for him that the international break has now come before he can start to build up any momentum with his performances, but when club football resumes, it will be fascinating to see who Mikel Arteta ends up picking at right back. And the next thing on the list is Martin Odegaard surprises Mikel Arteta. Alongside Callum Chambers in spearheading the Arsenal comeback, it was Martin Odegaard. When you consider how long it normally took long signings to fit in and make an impact at the club, looking at you Denis Suarez, it is remarkable how quickly the Norwegian has become an integral part of Mikel Arteta's game. Martin Odegaard ended the game with 16 penalty area entries, 9 crosses, 5 touches in the opposition box, 4 take-ons and 4 chances created. In each of these areas he ranked the highest of any Arsenal player. In his brief spell in North London so far, he has been a joy to watch and no one seems to be enjoying his play more than Mikel Arteta himself. I think he had an incredible performance, Mikel Arteta said after the game. When everyone was a little trembling, he gave us the stability and the composure on the ball, and he created chance after chance. When Odegaard arrived, it's fair to say there was an assumption, perhaps due to his shy demeanour, perhaps due to the club he was coming from, and perhaps due to the position he plays. And you will only see Arsenal to see the best of him when the going was good. But as those around him continue to flounder around, the Norwegian continues to lead by example with the consistency that Mikel admitted he was not expecting. I think we've all been surprised because he looks really shy and humble, but when he steps onto that pitch, he's a real character and he loves to play football. It is fast becoming a question if Arsenal should make his move permanent, but rather how can they get that to happen. So the final thing on the list is Alexandre Lacazette creates Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang headache. As Arsenal revitalised their performance in the second half, one man who still could not find his groove was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The Gabon forward oddly started the game on the right, where he was anonymous before shifting over to the left, where his impact on the game was similarly minimal. In recent weeks, he has looked close to his best in the centre-forward role, but even Aubameyang's best performances since that positional switch pale in comparison to what we saw from Alexandre Lacazette at the London Stadium. It's the standard performance that we are starting to grow accustomed to from Alexandre Lacazette, who has managed more goals already this season with 11 than he did in the whole campaign of last season. Despite the fact that the Frenchman seems to have ousted Aubameyang from his preferred position, though it is clear to see that they are good friends. If he's not playing at centre forward, then the question now has to be, where exactly does Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang get into this Arsenal side? It's not on the right where bukayo Saka has gone from strength to strength, and if it's going to be one spot on the left, he has to mean blocking the pathway to the first team for youngsters such as Gabriel Martinelli and Emil Smith-Rowe. And it's not even that he's keeping the out of inform Nicolas Pepe, whose moment quality off the bench was enough to create a goal for the second time in as many games. And it looks like the 31-year-old is expected to travel away with Gabon over the international break, where he'll be hoping to rediscover his goal-scoring touch. If he is unable to do so, then he may face a battle on his hands to secure a starting spot for the Gunners once he gets back. So these are 4 things spotted in the match where West Ham was 3 and Arsenal was 3. And we can clearly see that one thing needs to happen, and that is change and consistency. Mikel Arteta needs to get this Arsenal team to go back to where they want to be. They have to be playing consistently and at a top performance. So hopefully you can see the best of Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video and peace.